Just for a little context, a lot of my experiences with women in my life have been pretty negative. Not to say all women have been, but my mom was a single mother who was physically and emotionally abusive. My older sister was abusive sometimes as well. My romantic relationships have been kinda shitty too. First girlfriend cheated on me, second one told me she's just staying until the guy she likes comes around. One was very open that she doesn't like emotional men and would be obviously annoyed when I wanted emotional support. Last girlfriend slept with her ex shortly after me, and last girl I slept with was a co-worker who I had a crush on. We got together, turns out she was on some drugs and told me how much she's always liked me, slept with me, then never talked to me again. I've isolated myself so much at this point. I don't want to believe women are dangerous or something, but I'm honestly scared of women. Honestly, I wish I could be open about this to a woman and she could be empathetic. Again, I don't want to say all women, but I've sort of expressed this to women in small degrees and it usually doesn't go well. First thing first, if you really want to save your soul, as a matter of speaking lol, leave all incel forums. Now. Subs, websites, Facebook pages, YouTube channel, whatever. These will poison your mind and your mental health until there is nothing left of it. Now, some people have negative experiences with one gender, but it doesn't mean anything about said gender. My girl best friend was abused by her father, had an abusive ex, and got raped by a sicko just in front of her house. But you wouldn't say all men are fucking abusive assholes and rapists, right? Though, maybe for her, it would seem like it. So I understand where you're coming from. It's called an observation bias. It's not your fault. However, you're doing the right thing trying to fight it off. I'm sorry you met so many assholes in your life. As for the cheaters, you dodged bullets there. It's perfectly understandable that you're traumatized, my dude. Here, have a hug. I'm a woman, if it changes anything. I used to go on a forum for depression. It wasn't incels, but more or less same energy. I did realize after a while that being involved in that is really toxic and we all just fed each other's misery. As for the cheaters, you dodged bullets there. It's perfectly understandable that you're traumatized, my dude. I don't mean to sound shitty, but I feel a lot of the time cheating is more easily justifiable if you're a woman. Like, I guess women are abused more so they need to do what makes them happy. I've been given the impression before that I drove women to cheat. As for you being a woman, I would rather hear from actual women, to be honest. I want to know what women actually think, I guess. That's just an impression, love. You were never responsible for any of them cheating. Women are also judged harshly when they shit. However, it is true that in some subcultures they are glorified for doing so, but it's also true for men. When my sister got cheated on, she discovered that all his friends knew and were patting him on the back. That's terrible and shitty. Cheating is not justifiable and you're not responsible for any of it, don't worry. It's just your insecurities speaking. When my sister got cheated on, she discovered that all his friends knew and were patting him on the back. That's terrible and shitty. Well, now I feel like shit for saying that. That's terrible. Most people I've known tended to be kinda wishy-washy about it. Like for example, my co-workers and I were discussing another co-worker who had a boyfriend and kid at home but still frequently went on Tinder and dates. One co-worker gave the impression that there wasn't anything wrong with that, and mentioned something about how when she was young she liked to have fun or something. It just makes me so paranoid. Well, I'm so sorry you have shitty humans as co-workers. And please don't feel shitty, it's normal to be biased according to what we see around us. There are shitty humans all around us, and we must be careful about that. But there are also nice people, and I sincerely believe there is more of it. That's why I try to be one anyway. And I sincerely don't think it has anything to do with gender. But as someone else pointed out, abused kids tend to unconsciously attract abusive people, like there's a solid chance an abused girl will end up in a relationship with an abusive man, and same for a boy. That's probably why some women think all men are assholes and why some men think all women are bitches. Man, it is so fucking hard to unlearn the things our parents subconsciously teach us. We learn everything about relationships from our parents, and it just becomes the basis of reality for us. My parents' relationship is what all relationships are. It can take decades, and a lot of work, to fully, truly realize that isn't real and that not every woman is our mom. It's crazy because before my parents divorced, my dad regularly beat the fuck out of my mom, and I honestly thought it was just normal, that all families are like this, so I never complained or brought it up. I thought most men were like my dad, so growing up after my parents divorced I developed a philosophy of all men are shit and I need to be better than that. Just created more self-hatred issues. Yep, so for a while you were pissed at men, including yourself, for being abusive, and now you keep feeling pissed at women for being abusive, and you know you're only just pissed at your shitty parents, but your brain can't let go of the idea that dad is all men and mom is all women. Sadly, shittiness isn't gendered. It would be so much easier if it was. I'm a woman, and a lot of my friends are women. I don't have a single girlfriend who has cheated on their partners, but several have been cheated on. My dad was terrible in our family, my aunts were all mostly cheated on, abused, etc. And my grandpas were both pieces of work. But men aren't awful. These men were awful. My husband is a wonderful and caring man. I'm raising my boys to be good men and good people, and knowing that parenting and therapy can only go so far. Basically what I'm saying is that you have somehow been privy to shitty people who happen to be women, much like I was with men. So to choose out my partner, I chose out the exact opposite of my father, a caring feminist who is an amazing dad, who can grow as a person, someone who isn't bitter, someone humble but confident. I met him and we bonded over Trigon almost 20 years ago. I could have wound up like some of my aunts, who believe that all men will cheat if given the chance, they are incompetent for raising kids, don't expect them to help you with domestic chores. Basically men are useless. But that isn't fair to men. And that makes my aunts, as much as I love them, pretty close-minded and bitter. I don't want that attitude near my boys. You are complex people, just like every other person, who feel emotions, who need friends that talk about more than sports or video games, who cheat and are assholes, are kind and silly. Just like women. Because we're all pretty much the same. Placing people in categories is a good way to dehumanize a person, and that hurts everyone. So rather than going down the I hate women road, take a step back and focus on your mental health. If your abusive mom or sister are in the picture, don't get sucked in, look up grey rocking, and apply it to them. If your co-workers are displaying shitty behavior, walk away. Instead, go get some therapy and get a massage. Take a cooking course for yourself. Play magic. Join a hiking or biking group, or social distancing Tai Chi in the park. Or just something that would interest you and help you grow as a person. Knitting circles. Painting and pottery classes. I don't know, these are things I enjoy. And see if you can shift your viewpoint on both men and women. Try treating both equally and without prejudice. Does a guy friend have an awesome coat? Tell them. Is a female coworker killing it at work? Tell them. Are either being an asshole? Walk away. I think you are subconsciously drawn to toxic, abusive women because of how you were raised by your mother. My mom was emotionally negligent, I'm hesitant to say abusive, and I believe as a result all the female friendships I maintain were with similarly hurtful women. You probably know not all women are awful, otherwise it wouldn't bother you that you're feeling this way. You just keep having repeat experiences with awful women. That's not your fault. The solution is working through your childhood, finding closure, and unlearning the shit that was ingrained in your head as a kid. I suggest therapy. That's my plan anyway. I can definitely agree that I'm obsessed with abusing myself and am drawn to it. I'm waiting for the waiting period to end so I can open a new case with my therapist. I started taking it through work, but there's a few hoops to jump through. Best of luck, my friend, hopefully you won't be waiting too much longer. Also, at the risk of sounding a little hippy-dippy, have you tried meditation? It's helped me out a lot, especially during this period where therapists aren't as accessible. Your problem isn't that all women are shitty. Your problem is that during your upbringing your family painted a big sign on your forehead that says "shitty women here, I'm the perfect victim." It's hard to get rid of that sign. Personally, I think therapy is pretty useful for that, but working on your self-esteem alone also helps and is possible. First of all, it is incredibly impressive that you're able to verbalize all of this. Good on you. Second, if you're interested in professional help with processing the trauma you've experienced, I highly recommend looking into EMDR. It made a huge difference for me with some traumatic stuff from my past. I'm able to access it pretty cheaply too. I use a sliding scale non-profit therapy center. Similar things happen to women a lot, but we don't talk about it when it happens to men. People who were abused as kids often seem like magnets for toxic people, when that's not exactly it. If you were raised by someone pretty unkind, it seems more normal to you, and you don't see them as red flags. Or alternatively, manipulative people can tell you'd be easy to manipulate. I spent a long time when I was young bouncing from toxic friendship to toxic friendship, until I expected anyone I befriended to be horribly mean to me, to the point of stabbing me in the arm with a pencil. I was actually shocked when I came out as a lesbian to a new friend in high school, and it was no big deal to her. There are good people out there, people who won't just hurt you. You sound like a good person who's really hurting and looking for any kind of understanding. Stay away from incel groups as much as you can, they'll try and drag you down even further into your depression. Try and get a therapist. If you can't for some reason, I like the app Uber for helping figuring out when my thought patterns are being warped by my own anxiety and depression. It's not a replacement for a therapist, but it's free and not half bad. And if a community is what you need, get really into a fandom. Pokemon Go has a strong fan base and has been getting me through a lot during all this. I really wish you the best, and I hope you feel better soon. So here's the fun part about abusive upbringings. They tend to leave invisible scars that then either attract terrible people or you just aren't able to recognize and stay away from terrible people. As a fellow person who has lived the cliché being that children of abuse date abusers, I have some idea of what you're going through. The best thing you can do for yourself is to take space for a little bit and learn how to overcome all the damage that was done growing up. It doesn't have to be forever, but with hard work, patience, professional help, and time you'll learn how to set and maintain healthy boundaries, to respect yourself and only accept people who treat you respectfully, and how to be a healthy partner and find a partner that will treat you well. The first and most important relationship in your life should be with yourself. There are terrible women and terrible men. No one deserves either. Take care of yourself. Thank you for listening. If you need any more, seek us out. We're waiting for you. Always. Everywhere. We're here.